The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's Platinum Success Training webinar with your host, Todd Walters.
Hey, welcome everyone. Hope everybody's getting settled in for a fantastic session today. You got my voice message. Craig texted me and said the voice broadcast that I sent out to you wasn't all that great. He said the clarity on it wasn't so good on his end when he heard it. I got it. I thought it sounded okay, but so hopefully I was clear in the message that on today's webinar, we have Nancy Kowalik. I'm going to bring her around momentarily. And this is going to be great. If you were in Anaheim and you saw her session on getting more now business with her events and home tours and open houses, this is going to be a great session for you. How many of you want more now business, people that are ready to buy right now, even over the holidays? How many of you listed a home today that was over $1 million? Okay, well, Nancy did, so you get to hear all about it and how you can do it as well. All right, so looking at your screen right now, you can see our closed group Facebook page. Okay, so I brought that up just a little bit ago. How many of you are not paying attention to the Platinum Facebook page? Okay, here's what you want to do. If you're not part of the group on Facebook, you got to let us know. You can type that into the chat in the upper right-hand corner control panel. Andrea can monitor that. You can send an email over to that. Andrea, tell everyone what they can do to get on and be a part of the Platinum Closed Loop Facebook page here, if you don't mind.
So if you can find me on Facebook, you need to friend either myself or Dana. So find me, it's Andrea Swan Velasquez, or just email me, andrea@craigproctor.com, and I'll get you added to my friend list, and then I'll add you to the Platinum Connections list. You can also email platinum@toddwalters.com, and Dana can add you. So there's two options there. Even if you just wanted to chat today quickly in the chat box, hey, Andrea, can you add me? I can do that today sometime.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, this is a big deal. I was looking down through here. Here was our notice, on today's webinar. Any Plats in Champaign, Illinois. I think Teresa Ryan's in that area. But look, I put this, I'm bringing this to your attention because I see referrals on here that are available for Platinum members daily. So, and there's some pretty good, like Liz and the Junkie team here, man, they're crushing it. I love great success stories and sharing all of that. Congratulations. We need to get these guys a plaque here for over $1 million. So the referrals, gold nuggets on, hey, I need some help with this. Somebody weighs in like Kristen Stampini here on, say, hey, why don't you go do that? So you'd be wise to take a few minutes out of your day and catch up on just what's happening on the Platinum Facebook page on a regular basis. It will lead to you filling up your to-do list and adding to your initiatives, as well as even solving some of your solutions. So I've told everyone that, look, if I could wish one thing for Platinum members, okay, coaching members especially that are just getting going with Platinum, especially them, if I could wish one thing to help you become successful, it'd be to pick you up and put you right in the middle of our most successful members, people that are doing well with the system. It's contagious. So there you go. That's my commercial for today for the Platinum Facebook page. Let me take you to craigproctorcoaching.com, and hopefully everyone's sitting down in front of their computer. You got your notepad, you got your pen. This is work on your business time. Happens every Tuesday, first 4 Tuesdays of every month around 4 p.m. Eastern time. We get rolling, primarily Rainmaker-driven sessions on Tuesdays with me and many times a special guest like we have today. So, and part of that routine is you've got your monitor up, you got craigproctorcoaching.com up. I'm hoping that you've invested in more than one monitor. So you have 2. I've got 3 here on my desk, plus my laptop's up. So you can accomplish more like that. So anyway, I'm over here at craigproctorcoaching.com. I'm going to schedule an events tab. Now, what the most successful Platinum members do is they come to the meetings, okay? What the least successful do is skip them. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, may even come across as a bit rude. That's not my intention. It's only because Craig, myself, our coaches, and special guests that we care. We really care about you achieving your goals and your heart's desire. And it is much more likely to happen by you attending the meetings, not some of them, but all of the multi-day meetings. I realize that from time to time, life gets in the way, okay? But you want to do everything in your power to attend the meetings. It was the single greatest thing I ever did with my business strategy, was coming to the meetings with Craig, okay? And you guys know the story. It's been almost 30 years for me, okay? So for you, many of you, your journey is just beginning. Get to the meetings. Coming up February 16th and 17th in Orlando is our big summit on a business that works so you don't have to. And that really is a legit theme. So we've strategically positioned, you can see them on the agenda. We've strategically positioned the sessions to drill down on you actually having a business that works. Great customer service, overflow of leads, great appointments that can work without you going insane, without your constant involvement in it all. And as you're going to hear from Nancy in a little bit, she's going to tell you that if you're involved in everything, it's probably likely not to go so great, okay? That only through leverage can you give better customer service, get more leads, have more appointments, and get more accomplished. So you're going to discover that today as she shares her story and we look at some of her materials. Okay, so here's what I would like for you to do. If your plans are to not come, okay, let me know. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it, but I want to know why you're skipping it. So if your plans are not to attend February 16th and 17th, go ahead and type that into the chat box. Let me know why, and so that I can help. And I realize that some I may not be able to, but man, I need to know. These meetings are mandatory. We discuss it every Tuesday on the importance of them, and I try to weave in some good reasons why you should attend. And I can't think of a better reason than having a business that works without my constant involvement. Okay, and that's not a pipe dream. That is the goal that Craig, myself, Andrea here, Nancy, our coaches have for you if that's yours. We want it for you. Okay, now if you are coming and you haven't registered, I need to know that you're coming. So get to view event details, and when you do, you're going to have the option there of getting set up to attend. And look at there, I'm confirmed to attend. Okay, right there via Dana. She signs me up and makes sure that we're coming. Okay, and you guys know I'll be there. So get there, hotel accommodations. You can download the agenda and any questions that you have about it. Todd, I'm not sure if I should come or not. I've got this going on or I'm not sure. You reach out to me and let's have a legit discussion on it. Okay? Yes, your seat's going to be there. Your competitors in your marketplace would prefer you not go. That I can assure you. If you don't believe me, ask them. Hey, competitor, do you think I should probably go work on my business and increase the ways to be more exclusive in my marketplace or sit it out? What about your clients? What do you think they want you to do? Yeah, I'm not really interested in you becoming better at this business, so you should sit it out. Of course they're not going to say those things. So one more time, this is where the most successful people will come. Okay? This is where the least successful will not be. Okay? That I can assure you. All right, so there's my pitch on that one. That's a pretty good pitch for it, wouldn't you say there, Miss Nancy?
Absolutely. They should listen.
Yes. All right, so great job in Anaheim. Speaking of meetings, that was really great session that you put together there and shared with us. So for everyone who's new here that missed it, and for those that chose to sit it out for whatever reason, or couldn't attend because life, kind of got in the way at that moment, give everybody a heads up of what you did and what you shared with everyone there in Anaheim at the Millionaire Agent Maker Conference last October.
So I wanted to talk about how I've taken the Sunday tour of homes and kind of used it in a way in my marketplace, which is still a buyer's market. Listen, we haven't had a good seller's market here in Jersey in quite some time, in South Jersey specifically. And so I took the Sunday tour of homes and let's say, put it on steroids, right? So I've done some things very specifically, and I have over time brought it down to a system that my staff doesn't just talk about, but in neighborhoods people talk about, and other agents. I have a lot of haters out there thanks to this program because they haven't figured out entirely how to implement, and that's just as well. They're not Craig Proctor devotees, and we don't need them clued in. But I want to clue everybody else in. I know that the market's shifting in some areas, and we've had to get really good in how to create demand in a market where buyers really have the upper hand, and we're getting above asking price and above even appraisal values based on this system.
All right. So yes, you're able to create an auction effect and increase the demand for your listings, even when there's a lot of listings in the marketplace. Great job. All right. So for those who aren't that familiar with you, and you're approachable, so I would encourage anyone, especially in Orlando, when we get together in February, to come up and talk to you.
Yep,
and also, if it's okay, Nancy, I want to encourage everyone that's watching today's session, if you get some really good gold nuggets out of this, please thank Nancy for volunteering today to share and be a part of our session. So, Nancy, I'll thank you in advance for your time today. Thank you. All right.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so give everybody a little bit of a clue where you are. You're up in Jersey, but a little bit more about your marketplace and what your business looks like right now. Right. Revenue, kind of business, what your team looks like, just so we have an idea of who's sharing with us today. Thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. So I'm in South Jersey, so I'm a suburb of Philadelphia, but we're really our own little bedroom community, if you will. We have about in the marketplace, maybe 500,000 homes within a 1.5-mile drive. So in my marketplace, where I'm the center of, and they call me the Queen of Mullica Hill, there's 14,500 people and about 4,500 homes. But here, my business is just under 2 million. We'll finish out, we're $1.9 million. We haven't added all our numbers in from this week and next week. And we've got some really big closings coming up, so great way to finish the year. So just under 2 million in GCI. My team consists of, I have 6 people that are in my office. So I have my own brokerage. I'm independent. Let me start there. I have 6 support staff in my office, and I have a couple of part-time people as well. I have 6 full-time OSAs, 2 more part-time. They're part-time until they prove themselves. That was a thank you from John Reeves, rather. And so, the brokerage is growing. And by the way, we have 5-star service going on our 6th year in a row, which is very exciting. So, we're doing good things in the marketplace.
Yes, you are. I got an email here from you. I don't know how many houses you're advertising here, but let me give the obvious clue. Like you're pretty good at marketing. You leverage property, and you push it out to the marketplace several different ways. So it's basically property ads, but you leverage them pretty well, and of course that generates a lot of business. Now, when I'm looking at your stuff, one of the things I picked up on is that I can't see the home unless I come to the open house. I don't think that's the case, but I don't even know if that's intended, but it looks to me like the only time for me to come and look at these houses or find out about them is to show up when it's available to see. Is that intentional?
That is intentional because we are trying to create an auction effect or a frenzy around these open houses. The goal of this open house is not to sell the house, right? So we're going to sell the house. We know that. The goal of the open house is to find more sellers. And if you look at this particular email, there's 2 homes directly across the street from each other, these 2 townhomes. A lot of homes sitting in this community expired. We've already sold 3. This is on the same street now, back to back. They were expired, and we launched them, and we have an offer on 1 already. Didn't change the price much, but changed the marketing huge. And this past weekend had our famous open house, forced people through in drenching rains, and created demand. Owners and the sellers are thrilled, and the neighbors are out watching. So it's huge.
Yep. So I like that. Number one, it's good presentations, and you're constantly marketing to your databases and whoever you have This is obviously went out via email, and I'm on your email list. So so I can see how you're getting a lot of, and if I'm a prospect with a house to sell and you're constantly marketing to me selling other people's homes, and every time I turn around it's a different property, like I got to pay attention to that.
Yes.
Just the fact that you're selling houses. So a lot of agents here that are watching today's webinar, if they don't pick up on anything else, you can't really expect to get people calling you about selling their home if they're not seeing you selling other people's homes. Like, it's I'm trying to keep myself together from laughing about that, but it's amazing the number of people wonder why. Yeah. How come people aren't calling me to sell their home? Well, you're not showing them that you're selling houses, so that could be one reason.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
That's pretty
It should
funny.
be the best kept secret. It's you've got no one else is going to toot your horn the way you do, and we do it in a tasteful way. I believe that's not just my consensus. That was my intention, but that is that's what I hear from my clients and the people that get. We do have our stalkers that come to all of our open houses.
Hey, this is great too. I noticed you've included this in your marketing materials. Yes. Online is this video, sort of a backstage tour of your real estate brokerage, your office, your team, and other things. How big a deal is that video that promotes your business and company, attached to almost everything? And how long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing this for I'm going to say about a year as well. I find that I've had people say, I loved your story about how you got started in this business. So stories sell. We know this. And by telling my story about how I became a real estate agent, first, people, it's very human for people, makes me very approachable. And then when they come in and see the difference in our office, our physical office, they're kind of blown away. So there's the two parts of it. And you don't just say and show, but then also you come in our office and it's a different experience even walking through the doors. So, and it's been very positive, very, very positive.
Well, great job there, and I think that's another gold nugget. Number one, have to demonstrate to people who have homes to sell that we actually sell homes, a lot of them, faster, for more money, and with less hassle than the competition. So it's a presentation of this is what we do. Secondly, is letting people see behind the scenes that what your business and company is all about, attached to virtually all of that marketing, so you can accomplish a lot more with your marketing than just anything else, and that gets working for you. I like that. Let's flip it over to this PowerPoint that I have that you used in Anaheim during the session. Can we kind of run through some of this? I'd like for you to talk a little bit about that. Do you mind?
Sure. Yeah, no, not at all. So first of all, and I didn't discuss this with you, but I wrote this PowerPoint in bullet points, and it came together without me. So 3 days before the conference, I was tweaking it and changing it, but my admin and my marketing put this together with my notes and did a magnificent job for it. So they get all the credit for how professional this looks. The ideas, were ones that I took from Craig Proctor and you, Todd, but then on steroids. And then they put this together. I don't know how to do a PowerPoint presentation, and I don't want to learn. So, They made me look great, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Yes, it is for sure, and we like presentations. It helps us to better understand. Is it okay if I post this presentation in the Tour of Homes
Absolutely.
Library?
Yes.
Okay, so for the record, people are going to ask, they're already asking, where can I get a copy of it? So we'll put it in the Platinum Tour of Homes Library. Right. Platinum Tour of Homes Library. We'll take a look at that in a minute. All right, let's kind of run through it. So I'll be the clicker, and you can talk a little bit. So take us through what we're looking at. What are we learning from Miss Nancy Kowalik today?
Right. So what we're covering is choosing and pricing the home, because pricing is a big part of marketing. Staging for pictures. Do not take pictures when someone says their house is ready unless you know that the pictures are going to get people into the home. Listing the property. So we go through the particulars of listing, how our commission structure works, what happens if other agents try to get in ahead of us, because that happens as well. We schedule the open house at the listing appointment. We put together the marketing. We're going to show you how that goes, hosting the open house, and how we follow up. So we're going to cover everything soup to nuts on how you can do this yourself. And so a little bit about me. 2006, I got my license, started at Century 21, had no real training. So just based on the power that I had lived in this community for years, I got 16 deals. at best when I worked at Century 21, and that was enough to get me in the Circle of Excellence. I'm a bronze realtor, whatever that means to the public, but that's what other people in our industry looked at. And so no real training, honestly. And as I progressed, I moved to Keller Williams, and I completed 12 deals that year. And this was a particularly hard year. I was actually getting divorced after a 20-year marriage and on my own completely, and realized that I spent an entire summer working and had deals literally disappear before my eyes because of changing market conditions, people losing jobs, mortgages not coming through, things that I could never have foreseen. And after I cried for a day, I picked myself up and went to a Craig Proctor program literally across the country. I paid close to $900 just to get into the seminar that you now, as a Platinum member, can go to for free, and that's where things changed. So for the first couple of years, I nibbled around the edges, and I saw incremental business, right? So I saw things getting better. And as I started to feel a little less overwhelmed to get my feet under me, I realized that the more I went, I was hearing the same material, but in a different way, and I was hearing it when I was ready to hear it. So right around 2014, I made a quantum leap, and more than doubled my business. And then September 1st of 2015 went completely independent because Keller Williams had a serious problem with my commission splits and had a serious problem with my Your Home Sold guarantee. There were things that they would not allow me to do. So I pivoted and went completely independent in 2015, and has been nothing but good since then. So I had $1 million GCI in 2016. I opened my own office. I bought a building next door to me, 2,200 square feet, 4 apartments. So I now have, this building is paid for without my office even paying rent, which it does. And honestly, I've moved a tenant out. I'm expanding the office into one of the residential spaces. So we're growing that quickly, which is amazing.
I like this. I would encourage everyone watching this PowerPoint to put together a timeline of success. And this one's well done. This is very helpful in recruiting as well. Nancy, I know you use it there.
So I haven't had to do a lot of recruiting. They all come to me, frankly, and which has been amazing. But this spelled it out for me, because I know when I sat down and started looking at my numbers before going to multiple Craig Proctor seminars in a year, the numbers were very different than they are now, and that was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're all about helping people make quantum leaps. After all, Nancy, it is called the quantum leap system.
Yes. So looking at this, you can see the numbers. You know where I'm at now. And so one of the things I know is once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. If you see my personal Facebook page, that's still my background, because I'm constantly changing. Our lives are organic. I'm constantly changing my goals and upping the ante and going for bigger and better. So, but you have to have something in place. So going back to the house tour, choosing and pricing the home, biggest thing. You want to choose a house that has wide appeal in your marketplace. Now, I will tell you, all of our homes now launch with an open house, even something that is not as general to other people, because we've got this system implemented so well. So, but when you first start out, pick homes that have a wider appeal, price the house where you expect it to sell. Again, the selling price should not be your best kept secret. And remember, as marketers, we have to look at the way buyers look at it. Buyers look, because of that, because of these little things in our hands, we look at 0025. So 300, 325, 350, 375. If you price a home at 385 or 383, you're missing the market. You're missing the market. So pricing is very important, and I explain it that way to my sellers. Most of my sellers are either moving up or moving down. They're doing something, and they will nod their heads when they acknowledge that this is how they, in fact, look for their next property. So you have to be cognizant of those things, right? So then this is something that blows me away every day. Look at pictures in the MLS, and you know that those pictures, someone snapped dirty laundry, toilet seats up, beds not made, something covering gorgeous granite countertops. So part of my checklist now, and this is literally a checklist that we have on every single file, it's called a honey-do list. And so I go in, and I just did one today for $1 million property. I need you to make the property look the way I want it to. And I tell my sellers, I'm spending a lot of money on these pictures, and they see the quality of those things. It's one of the things that draws them to me. So I'm going to give you a honey-do list. Listen, if you're not good at that, hire a stager, get somebody involved. But I go through and say, this is how I want the house to look. I take a half an hour. I record it literally on a handheld, and then I have my admin type it up and send it to the sellers and say, can you be ready for pictures on this date? So, picture perfect, and then schedule the pictures when we know they're going to be, when the sellers are ready to go. Yeah,
let's talk about that just a little bit more. First of all, if you're taking the pictures, you own them and you're going to use them forever.
Correct.
I would imagine, they get purposed in marketing for a long time. So a lot of agents kind of go through the motions here on this aspect of it, but this is a big deal. When you take a picture of a property, you're understanding you're creating a swipe file for a long time. So the better the photos, the more likely you are to use them, and not just better results, but again, this is all future stuff. Future bank is what we call it.
Absolutely,
So,
and we do aerial tours, virtual tours, and we do the 3D Matterport if something's been on the market for 6 weeks or more. So we bring that in as well. But these pictures these come in as, they're not just our sell pictures, but they're our sold pictures. And more our clients judge us on those pictures. That's why we're picking people up.
Yeah, you only get one chance to make a good first impression.
Absolutely. And so our aerial shots here, you can see one of the areas. So I always say to my clients, listen, people come to South Jersey for space. We have 1 acre lots. That's what everybody comes here for. So you have to showcase more than the facade of the home. Otherwise, you're just one of 94 homes in your price range within a 3-mile radius, Mr. Seller. So these aerial shots, huge difference. And heck, the most fun was when I had clients, other agents say, thanks, Nance. Thanks now to you. I have to go and, spend $400 or $500 for these pictures. And so it's become the new standard in the marketplace, which is great. You saw the 3D pictures. So the other things that we do is, this is just a little subversive, I say, with the MLS. So you have to decide how to handle this. But we enter the listing in the MLS on Monday. We need a lot of time for the feed to pull out to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and all those other feeds that we have. So we're placing everything in on Monday, all right? But the key here is to not let anybody in on Monday. And so, without the coming soons, which I understand we're getting with Bright finally, but I've had to literally bring my sellers into this idea that if someone knocks on your door and says, Nancy won't let you in, you say, you know what, I told her everybody's sick here. You come up with some sort of, fib, if you will, to not let anybody into that property because we're creating demand. Those pictures get people salivating. We want to create that fear of loss, and we want them in that door on that open house date. So let's not let them in if we can during the week.
Yeah,
okay?
just say it's not a good time. Come Saturday or whenever the date. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So that's important. I think the next slide talks about that a little bit more. There you go. So and this is something, the reason I talk about this is depending on your marketplace. I was fined $1,000 for not letting people into the open house ahead of time. So, but the real estate commission, I had an exclusive sign.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
So, in other words, they fined you because the seller wouldn't let people into their home?
That's correct.
My God.
They had so many agents calling and complaining. So instead of going out and finding new business, they just had so many people complaining. And they did. They fined me $1,000 and said, Nance, you should know better. You're supposed to show the house as soon as it's in the MLS. So, that's to make everything fair for the other agents. It's not about being fair to the sellers. The seller, why should they trudge somebody in every half an hour when we can have them all in from 1 to 3 on Sunday, which is what we do. So we publish, right?
That's just awful.
It is. It really is. And it's something that I want to work on in the future, but that's a different story. But we publish the listing. We require 72 hours notice, and then we tell them no, and we make sure that no one's going in before the open house, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you even have to caution your sellers. If someone comes up while you're watering your lawn, you tell them, call my agent. You can get in with the agent. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of agents, it's a pretty good strategy. A lot of people watching the webinar now and in the future have this belief that, if I'm more likely to sell the home if people can see it anytime. Mm-hmm. I'm more likely to get business if people can have access to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The most successful know that it's the opposite, that people will want more of what they can't really have. Obvious example, Nancy, is when a seller prospect calls you. They're thinking about selling their home. I know how you do things. It's like seller says, well, I'm thinking about selling my house. You're not like, yeah, we can sell it. When can I come over? And you're like chasing them down. It's the opposite. Well, Mr. Seller, I don't know. We haven't seen your home yet. I'm not even sure if it's something we can help you with. If you'd like, we can set up a time to take a look at it. But let me know quick because I could probably do it next Tuesday at 3. if you're available then. In other words, it's you create what I call a scarcity mentality, and your prospects, obviously here freak out that they're going to miss out on something. So you're increasing demand with that strategy. Pretty smart.
Yes, and we do that all the time. If they think they're available, you set the bar low and you're available immediately, they know that that's how they're going to treat you moving forward. So absolutely, we do. We like to do exactly that.
Yeah. If you're starving real estate agent, it's difficult to get your brain wrapped around those things. But I want everybody to write this word down: exclusivity. Exclusivity. So moving forward here, especially in 2019 as we get into it, one of the big things we're going to be working on with our webinars and our meetings is you increasing your exclusivity in your marketplace versus how can I be more like everyone else. It's the complete opposite, and you're going to end up like Nancy here and others in our system that are doing quite well, trying to figure out how to spend all that extra money that you have. So great job, Nancy. Hey, didn't you just tell me you're listing like $1 million home a day almost here?
Practically, yes. So 2 in the last couple of days, and I have another one on Saturday. So I didn't even tell you about that one. But
what are you talking about? Nobody sells houses right before Christmas time. What are you talking about?
My gosh, thanks to this tour of homes that I do, we've had bidding wars between Christmas and New Year's every year for the last 5 years. I'm hoping to make it 6 consecutively. So we've been ramping this up little by little and playing to try and do things, but now it's literally all we do with our system. It's now just what we do, period. But yeah, it's been great. It's been exciting. All right.
So anything here on this?
Nope. So you want to decline all showings before the open house. That's the big part here. And then we always schedule at the same time, Sunday 1 to 3. Okay. So Saturdays we know don't work. Even around Eagles games, it's Sunday 1 to 3 because we are consistent with what we do, consistent with messaging. So when we're marketing the property, we're going to take advantage of that full week between the listings. We're going to direct market, as Todd said. We send out every Thursday night or Friday morning. I have a list of 12,000 people in my constant contact database that get that email that Craig was that Todd was scrolling through when we first started here. So we're direct marketing to the consumers, and then we're also going into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google, Craigslist, and LinkedIn. This is critical because, and I say to my sellers, listen, there's a million different pills for one condition in many cases, but the drug companies go direct to the consumer through radio, TV, based on lifestyle and based on age. And so they're breaking through the clutter of all of those choices to say to the consumer, ask your doctor about this product. So for me, I say, listen, I don't care if someone coming to your open house is represented by another agent. I want them to say, I have to go to this open house, right? We're going direct to the consumer where they live based on lifestyle. You can super target based on, again, these social media sites and Craigslist, and you have to do this in the week prior. So we're putting out, and we now customize, thanks to my new marketing person, we customize to each social media what those ads look like. I mean, for a while we were taking a Facebook ad and running it across all the social medias. It really just doesn't work. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, they're all different. Google Plus, we're there just for SEO, but Craigslist and LinkedIn, oh my God, LinkedIn was where we picked up $1.5 million listing from LinkedIn, from a free share on LinkedIn. So we pointed directly to that. So you have to use these things. Hire somebody if you're not good at it. Bring your kids into it if you're not good with it. But start using these social medias. They are priceless.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I like that. Pretty much what you're doing is making the list. Like, pretend there's no MLS.
Correct.
What would you do to generate traffic or leads advertising a particular property?
And that was literally from one of my things to implement from last February, and this is exactly how we came about it. So if you're looking at an example of what some of those ads look like, this is just giving you an idea of what it looks like on Facebook, where we're taking the things from the homes that we know are going to appeal the most to people, and we're putting in something about, we're giving bullet points, we're doing the things that, again, Todd, you've taught us about Facebook, that Craig's taught us, and taking that direct marketing, but just translating it into social media highlight to people and make sure it's getting across the feed of people we know who the buyers are going to be. You know who a buyer is in a step-up home in your marketplace. You know how to reach them through other mediums. So you know how to reach them on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So translate that. Take advantage of it, right?
Okay, so these are some pretty good ads here I'm looking at. Pretty. Okay. So give everybody a chance to check that out. And these ads work, eh?
They work. We don't give price or address. Obviously, they have to click through and give us information before they see that. So that's something as well.
All right. Yep, that's a good strategy. Let's see what else we got. Marketing the property. Okay, so you've got a few. You do use email.
Right. So the email blast goes out to now it's over 12,000 recipients. We keep adding. We have a 10% open rate and a 35% click-through rate, which is an enormous. I mean, and this is something we have. It's always sent the same time. We send text messages to our sync clients that are in that saved search. We send a voice blast to the neighborhood. And our neighborhoods have about 150 people in the database per town. We go up to 300. And then, of course, we put up signs in our marketplace as soon as we're able to. So sometimes it's, sometimes Wednesday to Friday, depends on local zoning laws. But we're putting up everything. And I've had some amazingly successful open houses where an agent forgot to put up the open signs, and that's all I'll hear about. So you need a checklist. You need to make sure this is implemented, whatever you commit to doing, and do it.
So I'm just checking some things out right here. I'm just making sure I understand it. You got 11,000 people that you're contacting?
So this is just one database. This is Constant Contact that does not take into account my sync database. Those are the folks that are in my Constant Contact are past clients, sphere of influence, all of those people, and then sync as they become, as we get in touch with them, they get transferred over. So that is constantly growing, and that's huge.
Yeah. All right. So hosting the open house.
Right. So we have the brochures in hand and the business cards created. So we create the packet for that open house, and we are able to collect contact information for every person that comes to the open house. And my rule is for every agent that does an open house, they have to follow up that evening. So so it's the trade. You fill out this card, give me your information on the tour of homes, and I'm going to give you information on this property, and so that we're always getting information. And occasionally you'll get people that will give you incorrect information. I ask my agents to be cognizant and kind of work through that. And then generally, if we've done our job right before the open house is even done, I'm getting offers for that property.
Yeah, they come in one door and ready to write the offer out the other door.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I have a couple of really cool case studies here to show you, and these were interesting to me. So realistic versus optimistic pricing. This is something I use in my presentations. Again, best kept secret should not be your selling price. So if you're going with realistic pricing and the marketplace recognizes it and you've done your job right, chances are really good you're going to get a higher price because you create that demand. As I say to my sellers, we look at a house full of people and everybody's eyeing each other up, and I'm waiting for someone to lick the handle, kind of like that VW, the Volkswagen commercials. Here's a property we had 52 couples through in 2 hours on a Sunday. And we also had 8 members of the community come through. One of them is now one of my top realtors, by the way. Got her out of that too. So we listed this price for $499,000. There was nothing close in comparables, and this was a small home community of 43 homes. There were 4 homes in foreclosure. We sold it for a cash deal for $575 with no conditions. This is one of those ones where you say you can't always promise this kind of performance. This was really astounding to us, but it really allowed me to take everything that I do to the next level because it gave me more credibility in the marketplace, right? So
that's amazing. $499 to $575, 50 plus people through. Amazing.
It really was. It was excellent. And we had people out. I did have people taking pictures. It was phenomenal. So the next one, we had an open house with realistic versus optimistic pricing. We had this one open house. I want to say we had 4 open houses in a weekend. This is one where we had over 30 families at this particular open house. This was a realistically priced house. We listed it at $425. We sold it at $440. The reason that this is interesting is I have 4 homes, same price range, same buyer profile, all within a 3-mile radius. And 3 out of the 4 priced realistically, and 3 out of the 4 sold immediately. The 4th that priced optimistically sat, and so we're going to go through that. That's what I'm showing here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So the next house, again, 28 families in that open house, priced at $449. $450 was the threshold there. We sold it at $466, and we had a problem with the appraisal, and the buyer said, not going to worry about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here's another one. And this was the one that was priced optimistically. 6 people came through the open house. It was up the street from the other 2 open houses. Only 6 people came through this house. It was listed at $475, which I said was too high. Ultimately, we sold it 3.5 months later for $461. So that seller had carrying costs for the 3.5 months in taxes, mortgage and taxes, and then sold for $461 under asking price. The only one out of the 4 for that weekend.
So your pricing strategy pretty much consists of, hey, Mr. Seller, we believe your home's going to sell for X, and you encourage them to just price it at X, not to build in a bunch of negotiating room or weird
That's
stuff
correct.
like that. Okay.
That's correct. We have a proven track record now. And before then, when I looked at that house that we had 52 couples through, I had sellers who had put their heart and soul into this house. It was magnificent. But, the highest comparable was $343. Now, we're talking about a $499 price difference, and we achieved well above and beyond that because they looked at the reality of the pricing and what we were up against, and they listened to me. Now, mind you, they interviewed 4 other agents that told them what they wanted to hear, and they ultimately went with me. I've since had 5 or 6 deals from them. But because I said, if we do our job right, and it's just that absolute knowledge and that confidence that comes from, if you do things right, the marketplace is going to recognize that this is a standout for the price. It's priced right. It's priced dead on. It's that house that everybody's going to want in that move up home. So that worked. And those were all homes that were new on the market. So I wanted to talk about an expired listing because expireds are huge in my marketplace. This is where I started, but I have come back to in a big way. So this is a home that was listed at $409,000 by Berkshire Hathaway. They dropped it down to $399 and expired after 6 months. So they didn't have a lot of room there. I picked up the listing and I listed it at $395. The house was a $400,000 house all day. Had an open house following all of those things that I talked about, and we had 9 families attend in the pouring rain, and we sold it the day of the open house after it sat on the market and expired. So there were things with this home. I had strategies for painting and cleaning things up and moving things around. And of course the marketing, getting up in the air. This home has a horse farm in the front of it, which you can't tell by this picture, but marketing in the correct way, we got up in the air and then showcased things differently, and we sold it immediately. So this, again, instant credibility because everybody in the marketplace sees this.
I love it. Yeah, you're not keeping it a secret. Like your success that you're having, you're doing a good job of, because we're looking at it. I just wonder how many platinum members watching this webinar actually have evidence and proof of their claims and present those back to the marketplace. It ultimately becomes almost a form of third-party endorsement.
Correct. So after we sell something, so it's not part of the open house checklist, but after we sell something, we do send out the postcard saying we sold this home at 100% of market value, 101% of market value, whatever, or of listed price rather. That goes out along with the voice broadcast. So the voice broadcasting goes out before, invites them to the open house, goes out when it goes pending. And by the way, hey, we still have 16 families looking in this neighborhood if you know of anyone looking to buy or sell. And then we call back and say, hey, just wanted you to know that this home sold at this price point. We literally give them that information. We have people that email us and call us and thank us for information. It's readily available, but some people aren't looking. It's not on their radar for maybe, for another 6 months or a year. So we're providing that service. And so I further wanted to take it, and this to me was one of the most interesting, in a luxury market. So this particular home was listed at $900,000. In my market in Gloucester County, there's not been a home that sold over $1 million in 12 years unless it was brand new construction, custom construction. And so when you look at that uphill battle, and in the number of homes that sold above 700,000 was less than 50 that were resales. So I knew it was an uphill battle, and so I thought, let me just take what I know and bring it to this open house, this open house strategy to this luxury home. This sold in 1 week at a price that my seller was very happy with. I told him, we talked a little bit about some negotiation possibilities. We had 14 families come to that open house. Average days on market for this home was a year and a half. So selling it in a week was huge, and that's why I know I'm getting all of these other luxury listings. Mm-hmm. Another property here, this is a sad case study, but a case study nonetheless. A luxury home. We did within 2 weeks. We did these 2 properties. listed at $849. Now, mind you, I told these sellers it would sell for $749, and they said, we'll go there if we have to, Nancy, we promise you. We're moving to Florida. We've already bought our home, but we want you to try it at $849. So I said, okay. I had it in writing that they would lower if necessary. The demand from the open house created an excitement and drama, and we had a bidding war on this property. And ultimately, it sold for $851 until attorneys killed the deal. Silly, something about an HVAC that no one, just people got up in arms about. And we lost the momentum. So about 6 weeks later, we lost the momentum, and we had to reduce the price. We reduced the price, and it finally went under contract at $749. So $100,000 difference because of creating excitement in the moment. That to me is a strong lesson, very strong lesson.
Okay, so land the plane here. Open house marketing goals.
Right. So it's not about selling that listing. We're going to sell the house. Where the open house for us is one of the top lead generating strategies for getting sellers, because we have sellers when we ask, how did you find out about us? I met you at an open house. I met Angela at one of your open houses. So they might have had other contact, but by coming to the open house, it cemented us as the go-to agent in the marketplace. So by getting listing after listing in neighborhoods, we are helping to run the market, which is amazing. And so it's one of our top 3 lead generating strategies. For those people out there looking for leads, you've got to be out in the marketplace and telling your story.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Andrea, I know we've generated quite a few questions here over the course of our time here with Nancy, so I'll let you kind of line up a few of those. So Nancy, it's a great strategy. I would encourage everyone that, look, when you get properties, the idea is to leverage the listings you get to get more listings. As a matter of fact, if we go back and look at some of our resources here, if I go to, for example, our file library, I'll draw attention to a few of these things. One of them would be the Platinum Tour of Homes Marketing library. So I'm going to load this PowerPoint in that library right there so everybody can see it. I'll just draw a little circle around it. Okay, I'll do that as soon as we get done today. So it'll be available sometime this evening or tomorrow. Everybody can be able to look at that, and I'll let everybody know. So that's a biggie. We look at that resource library. So everybody gets that. Let me erase my drawings. Back to the normal drawings. And another thing that I want everyone to pay close attention to is the Platinum Property Ad Template library. So that's going to be right there under Platinum Property Ad Template library, right there. Property Ad Templates. Okay. So the way you're positioning or marketing these properties, I mean, you're focusing on benefits. You advertise the price if it's good for the buyer. So yeah, you're not keeping that a secret, leveraging it actually.
Yes.
And the photos, the images represent it. They look to be better than they should be. In other words, wow, that's a great looking home for, $800,000 or $500,000 or whatever, the prices are on these things. So, that's a big deal. We talked about the value of that as well. So I know we got some questions, so I'm going to flip it over to Andrea. And Andrea, what do we have?
Our first question, does the photographer own the pictures, or do you as the agent?
I own the pictures. So I did work through with my photographers, because there are some of them that say, listen, until it sells, it's your picture, but once it sells, it's mine. You have to pay to use it. That's not how it works. I took that out of my agreements, and I own the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question, after they sign into your Facebook ad or social media ad, what is the next step to follow up with them or engage them? What do you do?
Excellent question. So they go to a landing page. It ends up in my Commissions Inc. database, and so my ISA is calling immediately.
Can you clarify what you mean by put up the signs as soon as the neighborhood allows?
Sure. So here in South Jersey, we have some communities that really don't like signs. So on Mullica Hill, where I live specifically, you're not allowed to put up an open house sign. So we do it Friday night after the zoning officer has gone home for the weekend. And then we make sure we pick them up on Sunday when we're done with the open house. In most other communities, as long as it's Wednesday or Thursday, and as long as you pick them up by the end of the open house, you're fine. You're not going to get fined. But that's how that works. So it depends on your community.
Vic says, am I correct? So no address provided for the open house on Facebook or other site unless they click on the site.
That's correct. This is exclusive information. If you want to know more, you're going to have to give up a little information to get it. Yes.
What is the average price point in your market?
So the average price point in South Jersey is, I want to say it's $250,000. The average price in my brokerage now is $392,000.
Okay, this member from Lee. I plan to use listings as examples from our brokerage. Teaming up with high-end luxury listings agent in Naples should I allow me to put Nancy's strategies in place, or this should allow me to put Nancy's strategy in place. Any other ideas using other agents' listings open house to start?
No, I mean by of course having permission to do the open house, but by as long as you have that permission, putting it out there on social media, knowing who the buyers are going to be. So you're targeting certain lifestyles on social medias. You should be fine. And then again, not giving them access to that information unless they're reaching out through your social media site. So it's not going back to the listing agent, for sure.
How much time do you need from listing paperwork until it goes active on MLS, allowing for pictures and putting marketing in place?
That's a good question. So it really depends on the seller. So I'll use my $1 million listing that I did today. We're not taking pictures until Sunday. So I have them sign a pre-listing agreement so that I'm covered from the time that I walk in the door, because I'm giving them my time and expertise to get them ready for pictures. So I've had people take 2 or 3 days. I've had people take 2 or 3 months. And we have the 6-month listing agreement start from the moment we go live. If they take a longer period of time, by the way, my marketing department helps babysit them, or an assistant, so that I'm not calling saying, are you ready yet? So you call and see what their progress is. We've had people get sick. Unfortunately, things happen in their lives, and we just stay on top of it.
Our next question from Terry says, Nancy, it seems like you do a good job of getting sellers to list at your price. Do you just let them, or do you just tell them to hold firm at that price when they are wanting to list higher for wiggle room?
Excellent question. I do my presentation for all of the things that we do marketing-wise. I tell them that the likelihood, if they go optimistic versus realistic, that they may sit on the market if they have time. Do you have 4 to 6 months, at least timing-wise? Depending on the price range, it may be longer. I bring those numbers out. And then I also talk about the fact that right now I'm happy to say I sell at 99.44% of my list price, which is just amazing, right? So I can pull that statistic out. But I was firm in my pricing before I could pull that statistic out. And then, yes, I tell them, you're not required to accept an offer if it's below what we want. And if you get them to work with you, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, Lawrence asks, do you do anything special at the open houses, such as having a food truck or anything like that?
Never. The house is the item of interest. I have sellers say, hey, I'll put out cookies, I'll put out food, and I'll say, I want them here. Occasionally, if it's hot, I'll do water bottles, of course, with labels on them from me, but otherwise, no food. It is about the home, and we're too busy to worry about people making a mess with food.
Do you do anything different for lower price homes than the ones you showed here?
I don't. It's literally the same strategy for every home, and even in terms of pictures. Of course, the pictures don't cost as much. We're not going to all the extents with night pictures and other things as well, but every client gets same treatment here at the office. Real quick story, I had a client that actually rented a property, and because she had such a good experience renting a property, she turned around and recommended me to an attorney who was then responsible for me getting probably 30 or 40 listings. So every client is important. Every seller, I've sold homes that were in the $200,000 and $300,000 range that had family members in the $800,000 range that we were recommended to. Make everybody feel important, and that they're the center of your business, and they'll turn around and treat you the same.
Okay. How did you pick the area to prospect? They go on to say they are newer agents and ready and eager to implement your ideas.
So for me, I implement this in the center of my universe. I live in Mullica Hill. I live in my marketplace. It's what I know best. Having said that, if you're in a marketplace that you're new to, or that doesn't have a good turnover rate, you're going to want to get some guidance from the Craig Proctor system in how to pick your marketplace. But I started where I knew it best, which is my hometown.
Okay. Julie would like some clarification. She says, Nancy, so you do not do a tour of homes. You leverage listings by using all of the mediums and do individual open houses?
So that's correct in a way. So there are times when we have so many open houses that we'll do open houses for the first 4 from 1 to 2, and then for the second 4 from 2:15 to 3 o'clock. So I call it tour of homes because it's part of the system. And again, I've kind of tweaked it my way. But because I don't allow anyone in prior to that tour of homes, it's how I launch properties. It is the highest interest, and we are rarely caught with low turnout.
Yeah, same concepts and strategies.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, Susan says, what do you do if a client does not clean and or stage as you suggest?
I don't work with them. It's simple. And I've walked away from, I've walked through homes and said, I would really need you to move this giant TV, and I've had someone say, well, I have to live here. And I say, it's a very short conversation after that. I'm sorry. I can't work with somebody like that, and my time is too short. And I will thank them for their opportunity and wish them luck.
Yeah. Well, I would think that that's kind of rare, though. I would assume, most people are, hey, what do I need to do to get more money? What do you think I can do? Yeah.
For someone who's motivated, absolutely, and that's the difference. So tire kickers, I don't work with, and I recently sold a house with someone so elderly, they waited just far too long, and we ended up hooking them up with 8 different services, from moving to painting to fixing and whatnot. It took them a little longer to get ready, but we sold their house that weekend. This past weekend, as a matter of fact, and for a higher price with no conditions. So they're just thrilled. The people that are motivated will do everything they need to do.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
Okay. When you follow up that night, do you use the universal callback script?
Absolutely. So my agents are required to enter information into sync for every person that comes through immediately that night, because we know they could be going to other open houses, and then they call and ask something specific about their interaction, or did you have a question about this home, and then, by the way, are you looking to make a move the next 3 to 6 months? Absolutely.
Are you willing to share your advertising budget?
It's going to vary per home. So most of what I do, I really only spend on social media. I have to pay to be on to be on Facebook, and I do $5 a day per home. Everything else is part of what my staff does for me. So it's not a huge thing. The photographs, depending on the package, are anywhere from $400 to $600. Those are my costs aside from my salaries.
Okay. How do you handle coming soon? Do you place on the MLS or try on your own database first?
So coming soon, we do, if we have time, through sync and through other mediums. In my marketplace, our MLS does not allow coming soon. We just switched to Bright today. Nightmare of a day, and we're waiting to, yesterday, and we're still waiting to see how coming soon's function, if it feeds out to Zillow and Trulia and whatnot. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay, we have a couple members asking about your pictures. Do you own a Matterport camera? Who's taking the pictures? And another question regarding that same matter, who do you use for pictures and videos? They specifically said at the Craig Proctor event.
So in my marketplace, I use a company called HomeJab, and then I also use somebody else that's very local. HomeJab, I understand, is, I believe, across the country. It's a franchise almost of sorts for pictures. And then I do own the pictures, as I stated. They do enough business with me that I can call some of those shots. And then I forgot what the other part of the question was.
It was asking specifically at the pictures they saw at the event.
Oh, those were all taken directly from my marketing pictures. So those were pictures that were already taken.
Okay. Do you send mass text to every lead in your sync database?
I do not. So when we do open houses, we target specifically price points. I don't want someone, they'll get, if they're on my constant contact or my email list, they'll get information about $1 million property, but I'm not going to invite them to $1 million property. They're not going to take me seriously. I invite them to things that make sense for the filters that they're put into in our sync database.
Okay, it's from Allison. I know you personally take all the listings, but it says you bring an agent with you, so what is the split to them?
That's a good question. So right up until, I'm going to say middle of this year, I did take all the listings, and I was quickly going under. It was just overwhelming, right? Business was that good. So now I do have I have 4 agents now that work with me, and the listings, the splits are different. I literally had to go back and say to my salespeople, listen, if you want to, these are come list me's. These are you're walking in and you're walking through pricing and strategy. These are people who are going to have the business. So I'm going to have to change. I can't survive on the same buyer agency split with listing because we spend so much money and effort on listings. I don't know how to break it all out with everything that we do between newspapers and direct mail and voice blasts and staff to do all of this. So my listing agents get a 25% commission, and they handle it. Now we've started moving forward since the California Summit. My agents come out with me. I am out there initially, so I'm kind of baby stepping them a bit to make sure I don't see a dip in my business. I'm there with the initial presentation. My agents follow up with the market analysis because we actually do it after the fact, which works great. And then they're the ones going out and doing the listings, and they're the ones doing the honey-do list unless they need help, unless it's the special case where they might need a little more advice. And it's working well. I'm very excited. It's going to allow me to step back from my business and open another office.
Okay.
Super.
Our next member would like to know what the text and voice blasts consist of.
So I use the script from the website, from Craig Proctor website. Basically it says, hey, you're the first to know, and come help pick your neighbor at the, your neighbors have listed their home, their lovely home at this address. You're the first to know, about the open house this weekend, so please come help pick your neighbor. If you're looking to, if you know of anyone else looking to buy or sell. I mean, it's literally the script that we have in there, right from the coaching site.
Okay. Can you show the members a sample of a landing page in Sync that a lead clicked on Facebook Open House?
Actually, I can't, forgive me. That's all going to be in my marketing, and I didn't bring it to be prepared tonight. I can maybe bring that to another summit, but I'm going to tell you that they're modeled off of, again, the coaching website. The only thing that I didn't implement until recently was buy this home all by yours, because the real estate commission slapped me down on that some time ago. We've just revisited. They've just given me permission in writing now to do it. But otherwise, it comes directly from the coaching site, the landing pages that we use.
Okay. We need a little more clarification on the appointment. So they're saying, so you are doing a 2-step listing appointment.
Yes. So one of the things I learned early on in my marketplace, the homes are not cookie cutter. Price points are so different. That's one of the reasons we have so many expireds in the marketplace. So I do go out and I look, and then we go within 24 hours, we're giving them an RPR report, which I picked up from doing, Jay Macklin said, I give them a CMA, give them an RPR report, which blows people away. We get them that RPR report, which shows how we arrived at a number. And we get that report to them, and then we're literally sending listing agreements out through DocuSign.
Okay, our next question. Are you able to provide the members with a honey-do list?
So it's very specific. I know it's very specific to homes. So we do have a list that we send out from our photographer that talks about making sure the trash cans are pulled in and make sure toilet seats are down and make sure counters are cleaned off. But you'd be surprised how much extra furniture are in homes that is completely unnecessary and blocks things. So it's something that a stager can do for you. If you look, I tell people, think about walking into a hotel, countertops are cleared, there's space, and you can breathe. And that's what I do when I walk in a room. I look at something and say, look, my eyes should go to the fireplace, but there's a bunch of things blocking it. Can we get rid of them? And that's kind of how it goes. And I do the honey-do list based on what the focal point should be. Again, the confused mind does nothing. Every room should have one purpose, and we make sure that that's how it shows in pictures.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great job, Nancy. Man. And Andrea, you're just rattling off the questions today. Wow.
And congratulations on the baby.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, you want to give everybody an update, Andrea? How's she doing? I mean, how's he doing? I heard you got some new clothes.
Yes, little Vaughn got some awesome gifts from the Platinum office. Dana and Todd really sent me some awesome stuff, and I'm so appreciative of it. You're going to see some of what he got in February at the event, so you better be there because I'm going to be there.
Hey, that's that's another big benefit to coming to Orlando, February 16th and 17th for the Business That Works So You Don't Have to conference. Andrea Velasquez is going to be there with her newborn and
That's right.
family. I think you're going to have everybody there, right? The whole crew.
The whole crew, my little circus.
There you go. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you. It's been a while. So glad you're coming. Nancy, thank you so much for sharing today on today's Platinum webinar. That was great stuff. And drilling down a bit more since the session in Anaheim, I got a lot of questions about you and what you were doing there with your home tour events, especially the ability to get so much more now business. So I was glad to be able to do that. And it's a great way to wrap up 2019. This is the last Platinum webinar session for 2019. Yep, 2018. We won't talk to Platinum members again in 2018. The next 2 Tuesdays are actually on holidays, Christmas Day, New Year's Day. So Andrea, I think we'll be back together with all of the Platinum members the second Tuesday of January. I think that's the 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 7th or 8th.
Yep, something like that.
One of those two.
Yep, so we'll make sure everybody's well aware of it. So Nancy, I'm hoping you're going to have a great holiday season with your family and everybody that you care about. You got any big plans?
Thank you. Actually, I cook Christmas dinner, so I'm excited to have family members come in. My son's back from school soon. Family members come down from North Jersey and get to kind of hang out and relax. And it's my time to not put on shoes, not leave the house. We're prepared before we do that, and I get to kind of really enjoy the home thing with my family, and really it's a pleasure, and it's our tradition. So I get to cook dinner every year. I don't cook any other time of the year these days, so it's fun to do now. I have someone else do that for me, so I'm very blessed. Yeah.
Well, good for you. I hope it's a great one. Andrea, same to you and your family. And on behalf of Craig and Catherine, our coaches, and everyone, we hope that all of our members have just the best holiday season that you could possibly have. And we're hoping everybody enjoys it, and 2019 gets off to a roaring start for you. For anyone whose business is a bit stuck, you want some extra help, hey, I'm here for that. Just reach out to me and let me know, and we'll set that up, and I'll do the very best I can to help you get all you can get so that 2019 is your best year ever. And a big part of that is making sure that you are in Orlando February 16th and 17th for that meeting. It will be one of the best meetings we've ever put together on that topic of a business that works, so you don't have to. So with that, it's going to wrap it up. Thanks again, everyone, and go serve big. We'll talk to you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. We'll see you.
Thank you. Bye.